there's no like natural way to like put this in the conversation, but I do need to like tell someone about this. I had the most Lovecraftian dream last
no,
night.
okay, tell it.
Like,
no,
what?
Save it for this.
Okay.
No, I'm telling you because it will fit.
Okay. What is this?
Actually, no, just tell me now.
Okay, you really had no. Okay, I was swimming in a deep ocean, even though I can't swim, and I uncovered some lost civilization at the bottom of the depths, and I saw unspeakable horrors that woke me up because I was so afraid. But I can't remember what those horrors were. They were literally beyond my comprehension. Real Shadows over Innsmouth stuff, like.
That is funny because actually it relates. The Lovecraftian thing relates. Actually, the dream relates less to the topic that I thought it was going to relate to, which is this one, and more to another topic I wanted to. I literally was planning on doing this week, and then I didn't have time to do all the research.
Ooh, it's a teaser for next episode, maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, this week. Okay, are we recording?
Yeah, we've been recording for 2 minutes.
Hello and welcome to the Special Interest Show. I am Aziraphale and I'm here with Crowley.
Hello.
Happy Turtle, and I'm Rosefawn, our other aliases. This is episode 4 of the Special Interest Show, and it is my week again, which means it's going to be the best.
Wow, I'm sitting right here.
Aziraphale, what are you looking at right now?
I am looking at a biblically accurate skateboard, which is 3 skateboards mushed together like a cross.
Kind of. That's your clue for the week. I like to give visual clues. This is going to be my new thing, apparently.
Okay. No, that can't be your thing. I already made the visual clue for next week.
Oh no, you stole it. It's never gonna. Let's not lie though. It's never gonna be as good as Miku by Thomas Jefferson.
No, nothing.
The fear in your voice. I couldn't even see your face because we've recorded this virtually. Believe it or not.
You can't reveal the curtain. It's like you've.
Oh no, we're in the void right now.
We're actually in your walls. Yes, you listening to this. We're in your walls.
We've been living there for years, like just scratching, trying to get out. But yeah, this is. What do you think the topic? It's not that hard to click on.
Is it angels? Is it angels?
Yeah, it's angels. Yeah, it's angels. Angels are actually one of my current real special interests. They've been a bit on the back burner because just finished my MA, and this is I basically want to do my PhD on this. Not this exact topic, but angels. And so this week, it's been a bit chaotic, a bit busy. I've moved house from the void into your walls. It's been crazy. I've been starting working, and so I just didn't have much time. And so I thought, well, I'll just draw on my inner knowledge of angels. But what prompted me to this, it's not just angels, it's the phenomenon of the biblically accurate angel. Have you heard this term like thrown around, like specifically just like people saying, oh, a biblically accurate angel?
Yeah, I've seen people make memes. I've seen the kind of cultural discourse of people being like, oh, they say do not be afraid because they're like 100 eyes coming out of a hand or something.
Yeah. It's been such a trend I've noticed in the last few years of like, I notice it particularly on Tumblr. That's because I spend a lot of my time on Tumblr still. But I feel like it's generally like an internet, like there's a lot of memes like this biblically accurate skateboard kind of meme. But I think it's a really loaded term. Just to see the phrase biblically accurate thrown around like that, it's like in itself, as a theologian, upsets me. Because I'm like, what do we mean biblically accurate? Which version? Which book are we looking at? Are we looking at Old Testament? Are we looking at New Testament? Like, what are we talking about here? And then people throw it around so loosely. It's like, oh yeah, the biblically accurate angel. They all look, like you say, like the million eyes in the hand. And it's like, that's like one guy and he was insane. Let's not overgeneralize here. Not to be defending the Bible. Defending the Bible on record.
You have a lot of complaints. Have you considered like writing them all down and like nailing them to a door? Yeah,
like I've got nearly 100, you know? And I think maybe a lot of them are to do with the Pope. I think he's the one causing this angel discourse.
So we should knock on his door and put them on
Yeah.
his roof.
Mm-hmm. On his roof?
Well, yeah, like he's pretty tall, the Pope. Like I always see him high up, so like put him on the
Yeah,
roof.
true. I'm thinking actually putting it on his Pope-mobile, like a parking ticket.
Do you think the Pope Mobile would get parking tickets if the guy like parked in the wrong place, or do you think the traffic warden would be like, "Oh, I'm not going to mess with the Pope"?
No, I'm not going to do that. It's the Pope. I have a feeling that like I don't think they would. I don't think they put parking fines or tickets out on any cars in Italy. To be honest, I just can't imagine it.
Would you put like when the Pope
I
like
think
visits
there's no.
France?
When he visits France, no, the French would do that, wouldn't they?
But then would the Pope pay? Like what? Like can you take the Pope to court? Like is there legal recourse
Is he
against him?
immune? Is he immune like kings and stuff?
Well, he is the King of the Vatican as well. That's his like lesser known title he also holds.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole other topic. Can the Pope go to prison? um,
Would he still
for
be
a
the
parking
Pope in
fine.
jail?
Would he still be the Pope
Okay,
in
we're
jail?
getting very off topic. Angels.
Anyway, angels. So the next slide. Oh, also I've got a Magic the Gathering card on here because I've been getting into Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, I
I need everyone
gathered.
to know this.
It's like you're combining your special interests right now.
Literally, yesterday I got 2 Lord of the Rings booster sets. Like I haven't got a starter set yet, so I don't actually have all the core things I need, but I do have the Lord of the Rings ones. And I have like 3 Doctor Who cards for my friend, and it's very exciting to me. Anyway, angels. What is an angel?
They're like people in heaven. I guess that's my understanding
Yes.
of them.
People.
Yeah.
Are they people?
No, because people have free will, right? That's the thing that separates.
Okay. Okay, we bring up the free will. You know what? I didn't even think about that. Do angels have free will? We'll come back to that question. But yeah, the definition I've got is spiritual beings who are intermediate between God and human beings. So spiritual beings is a term I think you see used often. That tends to be so you get in like Psalms. There's a verse, you have made him, man, like mankind, humankind, a little less than the angels, which I think is quite an interesting phrase. So it's like clear that one, God did create angels. And this is something that actually the Vatican, the Pope, like Catholics have been quite clear on. Because, the Catholics just tend to be clear on these details, where the Protestants are like, I don't know, guys.
It's vibes.
Just like to vibe it. But quite well established, and including at the Fourth Lateran Council, God did create angels. But also that they were created first, and then men, like humankind. So that,
that's the Usury Council. Sorry to
what, did they also do that at the Lateran?
Yeah, that was
Lateran?
to bring it back to the first episode. That was where they were like, Jews can do usury. It's a circle, guys. Alpha and Omega.
Just like God. But yeah, so it's the same thing. Clearly, they had a lot on the agenda for the Fourth Lateran Council. But yeah, and then also, so then it was repeated in the Vatican Council that, yeah, basically God created angels. So they are creations. They're not like gods. They're not deities or anything. They're not demigods. They were created by God, but they were created kind of, they're just above humans in the order of creation, right? Because humans are like the highest on earth of the order of creation, because animals are all like in their dominion or whatever, but angels are that little bit above. So there's been all these, of course it's Christianity, there's been all these debates about exactly how that works out, but that's essential. And basically they're angels are like spiritual beings whose main purpose is basically to like minister to God. So
oh my god, what the what?
Yeah? Yeah, what's the problem?
It looks like a Doctor Who villain from 1986.
That's so specific.
It's a very specific image.
It is a biblically accurate, in quotation marks, angel, but with like weird human eyes, like weird human lips, and instead of wings, it's got like nails, like human hands and nails, and it says, "Be not afraid, Sith," and it's horrifying.
Yeah, I am definitely afraid.
This is a transition to the topic of angels' messages, because I don't know what that message. I don't understand it. Basically, I don't know what message the image is transmitting. But it's transmitting something, really. Let's be honest.
Fear
So,
is what it's transmitting.
so Aziraphale, who is the most famous angel in the Bible?
I guess. Oh god. I guess it depends on like your point of view, but I guess it would either be Gabriel or Satan. Some people say he was
Oh,
a
okay. I
fallen
was not
angel.
expecting Satan to be thrown in here, but yes, I was going for Gabriel. But yeah, I would say maybe Satan is actually, if you think of him as the fallen angel. But yeah, Gabriel, what's his job?
Isn't he like not kind of like the just strongest angel? That's I suppose he was just
He
like
is
the
the strongest angel, but the only thing we really see Gabriel actually doing is literally just running God's errands and like sending messages. Like he's kind of like the Hermes of the angels, I guess. Like he just goes around announcing things. He has more of a role in when he's Jibril in Islamic tradition, right? Because he reveals the Quran to Muhammad.
wait Jibril.
Yeah, I didn't know that's. I mean, I'm saying it in the most English way,
Yeah, I
just
that
butchering a beautiful Arabic word. But
it's
Jibril,
it sounds like I don't know if there was like an alternate universe where there was like hamster or gerbil Christianity, and that's what they would call their angel
what
Gabriel.
it all. Okay,
Jibril.
important tangent. What would Jesus be called in this alternate hamster gerbil reality Christianity?
Um. Uh. Jesus.
What? Huh?
Jesus. Jesus.
Jesus. Oh, we're gonna have to delete this episode.
It's going to be a nightmare editing this.
Anyway, yeah, Jesus.
Also, I just need to like say this now. Your laughter is so high pitched, your mic isn't picking it up. So for people listening, it isn't just me laughing. That there is mutual laughter going on. It's just like beyond the human range of hearing.
I'm in the angel's reign. Oh, but anyway, yeah, Jibril. I really apologise to any Muslims for that tangent. But yeah, Jibril is very important in the Quran. He reveals the Quran to Muhammad. But angels as messages was where I was going with that. So Gabriel's main job is revealing messages. He famously reveals the message of the virgin birth to Mary and also to Joseph. And this is where you get a lot of the be not afraid kind of stuff. So like Matthew 1:20, this is when Gabriel, it doesn't actually say Gabriel in Matthew, but it is Gabriel. I think it's mentioned in one of the other Gospels. Appears to Joseph and says, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife, for the child conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. So, sending all these messages. Similarly, you've got other angels in the Bible that send messages. So, similar ones to do with children. Angel goes to Hagar, Abraham's concubine. Do you know this story?
No,
So, you know Abraham. You know that guy.
not personally, but yeah.
Yeah, so Angel comes to him in the form of a burning bush, which we're going to get onto.
This is future editing Crowley here. She never explains what the burning bush is. She just doesn't mention it. We don't know what it is. Anyway, back to your regularly scheduled show.
And it's like, you're the chosen one, Abraham. And he is basically chosen to be like the father of all these Israelites, receive all this blessing of children. He's like, what? My wife is like 90. And God's like, that's not going to stop me, babe. So he's like promising that they're going to have all these children. But then Sarah's like, that's insane. I'm not going to have any children. My womb is barren. I'm 90 years old. And so she takes matters into her own hands. She's like, Abraham, you've got to sleep with our like servant girl, basically slave, you know? Kind of a concubine, but mostly servant. And then everyone's like, whoa, I don't want to do that. She's going to have a baby. You've got to be all fruitful, remember, and have all these babies. And so then Abraham sleeps with Hagar, but then God actually comes to Hagar in the form of an angel. So Genesis 16:8-11. And the angel of the Lord said to her, now you have conceived and shall bear a son, and you shall call him Ishmael, for the Lord has given heed to your affliction. So Ishmael is the first son that Abraham has, and then he has, do you remember the name of his other son, the one he tries to kill?
Oh, Isaac.
Isaac.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Isaac is the one he actually has with Sarah. But anyway, yeah, so the angel comes to Hagar to tell her about Ishmael, and then I think he also comes to her because at a certain point Sarah gets jealous, even though it was her whole idea for Abraham to have this baby with Hagar. She's like, get out of my house, and leaves Hagar in the waste, and then I think the angel comes back again and is like, don't worry about it, I'll look after you, babes. So, sorry, the Yatified angel was just overtook me in that retelling.
It's like a mental poison.
But yeah, basically that's I wish angels. That is how I think angels talk now. New headcanon for the Bible.
New translation just dropped.
New translation just dropped the Yasified version. Hey sis, so you're gonna have a baby. But yeah, messengers. Angels are mostly messengers. They're warriors. So this is where this whole biblically accurate thing I think really comes into like
Ooh.
that people miss out. If like
I like
yeah,
this art. I like
it's cool,
that is
isn't it?
the be afraid is very chilling line.
It is. Be afraid. It's because this is the thing. I think this is what really I think the whole biblically accurate angel thing is subverting. It's like because the angels we do think about today, right, of like dressed in white and like blonde hair and little halos and like beautiful, like that's just not in the Bible. Like you do get kind of like I'm gonna go into it when we talk about what they look like, but you get some of the like, oh, they're like pretty kind of vibes, but the real chilling fear, I think, is really underestimated and downplayed, which I think, to be honest, is downplaying a lot of the fear inducing parts of God are downplayed when we talk about like Christianity today. Like, I think, especially with the kind of like Hillsong brand of Christianity that's all very like, God is our Father and we love God. And it's very casual. It does sometimes like come at the cost of like forgetting how like bone chilling God can be in some of the like especially the Old Testament. Like you read some of these passages like, oh my, it is approaching Lovecraftian horror. And these are the times what I love with angels is when you see that fear coming out, like the fear inducing part of them. So you got into Samuel, the angel of the Lord reaches out across to Jerusalem and says so when the Lord basically calls out to the angels like stop it. But like I love this image in Samuel. The angel of the Lord was by the threshing room floor, like literally had its hand reached out on the threshing floor of this like guy about to like destroy him until God's like, that's enough, stop it. Like
Yeah.
we've
Oh.
we've scared them, and it's like, oh, that's horrifying. Like to think about that. And there's a similar one as well. So in 2 Kings, that night the angel of the Lord set out and struck down 185,000
Oh.
in the camp of the Assyrians. When morning dawned, they were all dead bodies.
Oh. That is.
What a chilling phrase, like a sentence. That line, when the cat's broken into my room.
There's a cat.
Yeah, sorry, that was really scary. Because I'm reading this really scary line, and like, and then they were all dead bodies, and I just hear this cat breaking down my door.
Be afraid.
He throws his whole body weight at my door. Just comes in. Says, get out. Anyway, he's in here now. I'm shutting the door behind you. This is my housemate's cat. He honestly is an angel himself, but in the biblically accurate sense. Anyway, yeah.
Wait, aren't you allergic to cats?
Yeah, I am, but he's in here anyway. I'm just toxic like that.
All my friends are poisoning themselves recently. Like,
Wait,
I
how else are your friends poisoning themselves?
well,
Side note.
like one of my friends, he needed some paint thinner to thin
Mm.
paint on his brushes, and he just poured them all into it. I will say I was there. I didn't know better either, but we just put the brushes in a cup, filled the cup with like brush cleaner, and then left it in the kitchen. And then as we were in the living room playing Tears of the Kingdom, we could just feel our brains deteriorate, and we're like, why does it smell like
Oh no.
alcohol in here? As we were getting like stupider and stupider. And then I
Poisoned by the
left,
fumes.
and I just got like a text in the middle of the night being the smell is getting stronger. I don't know why. And then I haven't heard from him since.
Oh no. Oh no, maybe he's an angel now. Oh.
Please
Anyway,
don't poison yourselves, listeners.
yeah,
It's
but
not good.
he's gonna bite me now. He's doing it in a funny, goofy way though. He gets in his funny, goofy, silly moods when he's hungry.
Is he an orange cat?
No, he's a white cat. But
Oh,
he is this cat. He actually was on steroids as a kitten. He had to go on a course of steroids, and he didn't stop growing. He's like the size of a Maine Coon, not quite, but he's like a big cat. He's 8 kilograms. This cat.
that's a big boy.
Everyone who like has ever seen this cat will immediately on looking at, oh, he's big. Oh, he's bigger than I thought. He's just a giant boy, and sometimes he looks at me and I'm like, oh, he's scary. And then sometimes I look at him and I'm like, there's no thoughts in his head. In my head, he's like if Ken were an angel. Does that make sense?
Do you mean like Ken as portrayed by Ryan Gosling in
Yes.
2023 Barbie?
Yes, I do. Of course I do.
Okay, good. I didn't know if we had like a mutual friend called Ken that I had
No,
forgotten about.
we've forgotten about no. As in, Ken TM, just Ken, as if he was an angel. Where I'm like, he's a himbo, but sometimes I feel like he's got this indescribable power inside of him. Anyway, back to
Back to
podcast.
dead bodies in Assyria.
Yeah. So angels basically are that you should be scared of them. Like their main purpose, right, is messengers. Their second main purpose, basically, is to just be like God's smiting hand.
Yeah, well, I
Like-
think the fact it doesn't even say they were killed. It doesn't even like describe what it just said. When the morning dawned, they were all dead bodies. Like
Yeah.
almost like incidental to the angel going down there. That kind of sends a shiver down my spine.
It is, I know. Oh, and my other favourite line is so Acts 12:23. King Herod is abruptly kind of struck down by an angel. But then the end of the sentence is, and he was eaten by worms and died.
Wait, so he got struck down but like lived?
I don't understand it. And he got. Hang on, let me find the exact verse because this is like, I've just got that little section, and he was eaten by worms and died. But let me find the full verse and let me find it in. Just a side note, guys, this is not going to be useful for anyone. If you are ever looking up a Bible verse for anything academic and don't want just a random translation, never use the King James version. Okay? This is going to upset some people. I hate the King James version with a passion.
Are you going to expand on that, or are you just not going to?
That man, it was based on the I think it was based on the Vulgate, wasn't it? Which is just stupid. It's based on the Latin, and it was. Anyway, you need to NRSV. That's the one you need to look at. That's the accepted most accurate one. Accurate is what you
just
get in English.
Just learn Hebrew
Or learn Hebrew.
and Greek.
I mean, yeah.
'Cause-
And also, when you're reading the Bible, never say, "Oh, this is an exact quote from the Bible," or "The Bible says these exact words." No, it doesn't, unless you are quoting from the Greek or from the Hebrew. No, it doesn't say that. See, look now. I type in Acts 12:23. What's the first translation that comes up? King James. The most stupid version. It doesn't even. You can't even understand
No,
it.
there is a stupider version.
What the message?
It's called Word on the Street. I don't know if you.
No.
It was in 2008, and it was like a youth pastor trying to make it like translate it with youth slang, but he was like, 10 years out of date, and also the youth slang is like used all incorrectly. And me and my friends, we all read it together as a group, and we were like, this is really, like, we didn't even get past like the creation story when we were like, this has too many theological implications. Like, this, I get
This is
why
the
the Pope
problem.
banned translations. I get it now.
Well, this is the thing. This is what I mean. I'm like, the Bible is such a like significant historical document. However, whatever you believe about it, and you get translations like that, or like the one that we were maybe sometimes encouraged to read as teenagers was The Message, which is again similar, where it's all like in like down with the youth kind of language. Like, do you understand the implications of this? Like, there were full on like 100-year long arguments about single Greek letters in the Bible. Never mind, like, whatever on earth you're saying. And Jesus said, yeah, man, eat some bread. Like, do you not understand the power behind words? Anyway, rant aside. Yeah, the verse is literally just, and immediately, because he had not given the glory to God, an angel of the Lord struck him down, and he was eaten by worms and died.
It always sounds like a kid, like, ending a story. And then he fell over, and then he died, and then the worms ate him, and then he died again.
Yeah. But yeah, so the angels are the second biblically accurate purpose of angels, warrior angels. Third one, angel attendants. So this was something that was actually quite often discussed by like the church fathers of like Augustine, Saint Gregory, and like all these kind of people. The idea of angels attending the throne of God, and it's kind of based off of this like passage in Daniel where he's talking about, just for context, Daniel's one of those books where it seems like he was on drugs, but he wasn't. He was
Okay.
high on the Lord.
Okay.
Would you agree with that?
Is Daniel New or Old Testament for our viewers as well?
Daniel's old.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like it's similar level to like Ezekiel. And funny enough, you get a lot of the weird angel stuff in these ones where it's like they're having all these crazy visions. So in Daniel, you've got the quote, I'll paraphrase, but seeing these thrones were placed in the Ancient of Days. This is Daniel, he loves this phrase for God, which I just love it. Ancient of Days. It's so goth. So they're talking kind of about, this is about Jesus, basically God. Well, see, I'm saying Jesus, that's my own Christian bias reading into the Old Testament. The Ancient of Days is up for debate. His garment was white as snow, and his head of hair was like clean wool. His throne was like flames of fire, and wheels of it like burning fire. A swift stream of fire issued forth from before him. Thousands and thousands, thousands of thousands ministered to him, and 10 times 100,000 stood before him. This is so the thousands of thousands are basically angels, but you can tell basically by the vibe of this image, Daniel loves fire. There's a lot of fire going on, and so a lot of these angels are very fiery. But yeah, basically their role is to provide assistance and like support the god or the son of God, whoever you think you're talking about there. And so similar in Revelation, there's angels standing before God's throne, and then also like kind of they can support him in his like judgment kind of role, doing his whole little end of days thing. So that's the main roles of like, and also guardian angels.
Oh yes, that's like probably the most famous.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and main roles, and I was like, oh, hang on. Yeah, one of the most well-known is Guardian Angel. But the reason I forgot about it, I didn't forget about it. It's on my slide. I just momentarily forgot about it. It's not that biblical. And I'm sorry to say this. It's just not that biblical. So what was if I say Guardian Angel, what do you think comes to mind? What's the implications of that? Like, what do you think of the Guardian Angel as?
Well, I was always sort of taught it was like, oh, everyone has their own guardian angel who like watches over you and guides you.
Okay, yeah. From like everyone has their own individual one.
Yeah, or at the very least, like everyone is assigned to one. In like primary school RE, they never explain like logistics of if like each angel gets like, I don't know, a cohort of 100. They go like guardian.
Yeah, they're posse. Wait, you didn't go to a Catholic school, did you?
No,
No.
I went to a secular school. Although we did sing Bible songs every week in
Yeah.
assembly. The whole he's got the whole world
Oh,
in his hands.
He's got the whole. Yeah, iconic. yeah, that was the same with my first primary school. It was secular, but you sang Bible songs, so very loose understanding of the word secular.
We did actually. I think
Yeah.
we sung like, I don't want to say Muslim song. I just know we had to sing an Arabic song once.
Oh, okay. Just for the sake to get the diversity points.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming it's Muslim because it's Arabic, but it could just be an Arabic song. I can't remember. All of us had very sore throats afterwards because we didn't know how to sing.
Oh, I remember. Not on the same level, but because in assemblies, right, we would sing the songs like you're saying, the Christian songs. We never sang in Arabic, but we did have to recite T.S. Eliot's Shimbleshanks the Railway Cat. Do you remember those old projectors where you'd like put like a see-through piece of like plastic and it had the words printed on it?
That's what we did at my primary school. They didn't have any projectors when I left.
We didn't have it, and like we didn't have smart whiteboards or anything. Just you'd have your little like hymns, and then it's just Shimbleshanks the Railway Cat.
Did I ever tell you about how killed the baby Jesus at our nativity play? Did I ever tell you? Okay, so we did our nativity play at like year 1 or year 2, I can't remember, and the baby Jesus was this baby doll, and we were supposed to do like on like 4 different nights or something. But at the end of the first show, the person playing Virgin Mary was like, yeah, as the parents were walking out, was like, yes, we did it. Picked up the baby Jesus doll and flung it into the air where it hit the roof and its limbs exploded everywhere. And we weren't allowed to do any more showings because we couldn't be trusted with the props.
That's horrifying to think about. Did the head come off?
Everything. It exploded. It exploded, like all the limbs, and they just flew around the room, damaging other props. And like one of the roof panels was like knocked out by it as well. And whenever we had assembly, we could see the Jesus hole.
Jesus hole, like a glory hole.
Oh no, that's not the glory the Lord wants.
Oh, it does remind me of one time in biology. I sat out of this lesson because I'm vegetarian, have been my whole life. And we were dissecting like cow hearts or whatever, and some of the guys in my class literally like threw some heart matter on the ceiling, and it stayed up there for like a month. No one cleaned it, and you could just see, and even after they cleaned it off, you could see like the blood stain from where the heart had been thrown on the ceiling. It was horrible.
At my secondary school, at the start we had like a fish tank.
Yeah.
By the entrance of the science block, and then they had to get rid of it because some kid in year 7 just kept stealing the fish. As in, like, he would put his hand into the fish tank, grab the fish, and put them in his pocket. For what purpose? We will never know.
Oh, I want to know that child. What man did he turn out to be?
I don't know.
What happened in his life?
He's probably like 18 now. Maybe 19.
If you're listening, Fish Boy, hit us up for an interview. I want to know what's going on in your mind.
Do you still steal fish? Like,
you can imagine this guy spends his whole life, and it like you go into like a takeaway or whatever. There's like fish there, just grabbing fish. Just the menace of banned from every aquarium. He just grabs the fish.
He can't get a job because like whenever he goes to job interviews, the company will have like a fish tank in like the set, and he's like looking at it, sweating during the interview. It's like, oh, do you have any like weaknesses? He just jumps up, grabs the fish, puts it in his pocket.
This episode is so stupid.
We have got very off track. Almost like someone doesn't want us talking about this. Makes you think.
They don't want us to know how bad angels are. No, they're badass, honestly. These angels are cool. Anyway,
so guardian angels aren't in the Bible. That's
no, not really. I mean, I got this. This is a bit I got off the like Catholic website. The Catholics don't have a single website, but a Catholic website.
No, Catholicism.com.
Catholicism. There is a Christianity.com, which I actually did read some from in this research.
Wait, what denomination is Christianity.com?
I think it's vaguely Protestant.
Okay, of course.
I want to say.
Of course.
Yeah, I know, but they do talk about some stuff but they don't talk about the apocryphal books. So, for context, apocryphal books are like bonus episodes of the Bible that at some point we decided that they weren't going to be in the main album, and so they're just bonus tracks. But anyway, some Catholics read the apocryphal books. But yeah, so like this website, this Catholic website, Catholics.com, was like, oh, actually, it's repeatedly implied in the Bible that each individual soul has an own angel. And I'm like, implied. It's not that clear. That you can read into it. So Genesis, they're using the King James version, so I am going to struggle saying this because I hate it. He will send his angel before thee. Oh, thee, I hate it. And then there's other ones where it's like, the Lord liveth, his angel hath been my keeper. Judith says this. Hero Judith. And so it's somewhat like, okay, angels, these guardian roles. There's like vibes like that. There's not any individual one that says that like everyone gets their own guardian angel. There is this quote I've got on the slide from Matthew 18. It says, "See that you despise not of these little ones, for I say to you that their angels in heaven always see the face of my Father who is in heaven." And I think Jesus is talking about like children.
Yeah.
So like this is the idea of like, okay, well, they're angels who are looking over them, like are looking on the face of God, like they're blessed by these angels. That's kind of the hint, but it's not exactly clear. Yet guardian angels are so prevalent in like pop culture. And I think honestly this is another one of those things that really came from the church founders, the church fathers. So Saint Jerome, Peter the Lombard, Saint Bernard, they've all kind of made claims of like, yeah, everyone has an angel. Well, Peter the Lombard decided that one angel was in charge of several individual human beings, like you were saying.
Oh,
Like,
okay. So he thought of like the logistics.
Yeah.
Wait. So is that like why miracles have diminished? Because like the human population has like skyrocketed so much that like the angels are just really overworked, and it's like 1 to 1,000,000 now, and they just don't have the
That
time
is
in the day.
That's an incredible premise for like a book. I think. Did you ever watch? Very niche. Did anyone ever watch Winging It? It was I
No.
think, Canadian show. It had that guy from Degrassi and that guy from Degrassi, um,
I'm
and
gonna.
something else. And Winging It, like spelled WINGIN apostrophe
Wait.
it. And
I think I vaguely remember like the
you
title
might do,
screen.
because it was on CBC.
I think my only memory is seeing it came on, and then I would like switch to CITV.
Upsetting because honestly, it was good. The premise was that there was like a guardian angel assigned to this one teenage boy, Carl, and he was just like a pathetic loser of a teenager.
Oh wow, just digging into him.
He was though, and like his like guardian angel was also like a teenager vibe, clearly like it's interdimensional being, but in the form of a teenager, and like just had to keep looking out for him. There was all sorts of shenanigans and like, but it was very much that kind of like each they got assigned to their like human. I think at one point he does get assigned to another human being. They have to then look after. It's quite interesting thinking about the logistics of it, right? Yeah, so like that's the kind of general consensus. The Catholics will say like everyone gets their own guardian angel at birth, and that's what the biblical foundation of it is, but it's not as clear as other things. And then for the best part of this, what do angels even look like? So let's just throw out some ideas here. What are we thinking for the mood board? What angels look like? What the images are coming to your head?
So there's like the pop culture image of like the angel you put on the Christmas tree, like it's just a guy with wings or a girl with wings and like a halo. But then that there is the biblically accurate angel, which is like a bunch of eyes in a ring with wings,
right?
With like an eye in the middle.
Do you have any context for where that image that you're talking about comes from? Which part of the Bible do you think that comes from?
I did know, but I forgot.
You did know, but you forgot. Okay.
I did forget. So I don't know.
That I forgive you. I forgive you, my child.
Very Christ-like.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That is interesting. This is why I wanted to draw this out, really, because that is what I think most people, particularly people our age, who have been part of this whole like online thing of biblically accurate angel. That's dichotomy they will now have in their head of very typical like Christmas angel, guy dressed in white, usually white, or like a woman, right, with white fluffy wings, little halo, usually like blonde curly hair, and glowing in some way. or this crazy, and the one that sticks in people's head is the one with the rings and the eyes.
Is a powerful image. Like,
It is because it's horrifying. It's very like cosmic horror.
it also looks like a Zelda boss, actually, with all the eyes as like the weak point. Like, if you ever play Legend of Zelda, it's like
I've never played Zelda.
I'm looking at it, and it's like a guy from Nintendo designed it. It's like, hey, here's the weak points.
It does very yeah. Literally, that's what you've got to aim for. It does have very like video game vibes, and especially the way that people draw this art and like render it all on AI, or they'll draw it and like paint it all beautifully. But actually, in reality, very little is said in either the Hebrew Bibles, like the Old Testament books, or the Hebrew Bible for context is like a better way to say Old Testament, because Old Testament has some interesting supersessionist connotations to it. Very much like, oh, the Old Testament, you know, all those books, they're outdated now. We've got the new ones. And Jewish people, you're just missing out on the new edition. Like, it's very, like, dodgy. Like,
So
if you
I could just imagine a youth pastor like saying that to a group of Jewish people, like, you're missing out on all the wacky hijinks.
that is essentially, I'm paraphrasing it, that's the vibe. That's literally what people were saying. And like, you had to be, I'm so cued in now to supersessionism, because like anytime I'd write essays, you don't realize how entrenched it is in you, even if you're just raised culturally Christian, to think of like, oh, like all these the Old Testament books, Genesis, Exodus, they're all outdated now, irrelevant, and the the New Testament is like the updated version, and anything Jesus says in the New Testament has the power to basically like overrule what's said in the Old Testament. And it's a very like, it excludes a lot of Jewish, really like complex and interesting Jewish thought. Anyway, Hebrew Bible. So very little said in either the Hebrew Bible or the New Testament. So John, in the New Testament, you do get John mentions angels being dressed in white. So that is kind of biblical. And I don't even remember in Acts, Peter, one of the apostles, he's rescued from prison, and the angel who saves him is accompanied by like bright light. But the idea of actually angels having wings and being winged beings actually comes from like Mesopotamia. Like, they don't think it really came from, I say, academics don't tend to think it actually came from like kind of Israelite tradition originally. I think it was kind of absorbed into that from Mesopotamia, and like Mesopotamian like mythology. Angels as kind of fierce guardian figures with like bodies of lions and these like big wings. And also it's obviously been absorbed into like Greek culture as well. You know, like the gods Nike and Hermes.
Yeah.
This kind of winged imagery. And then by the 4th century, you're getting like a lot more kind of Christian art depicting angels with wings. And then the thing with like iconography, particularly religious iconography, is like once someone has started doing it and it's become like a trend, like people have latched onto it and like it becomes like theological reality. Like, regardless of whether it's like actually biblical or not, it's like, it's almost like, it's like if you made fan art, if you made the fan art of Mickey Binder Thomas Jefferson, for example, if you portrayed Thomas Jefferson that particular way, and say, for example, that caught on and multiple people kept portraying Thomas Jefferson like that, which may well be the case, who knows? It's like that happening, and then people in the next like century just being like, oh, that's just what Thomas Jefferson looks like. He just wore that Miku binder. It's like the way that these artists, the way they're portraying these like like theological creatures, mythological creatures, is actually impacting the belief, which I just think is really fascinating, is it not? Like,
Yeah, because I mean, I think it sort of sheds more light on like icon. Oh god, I can't say the word. Iconoclasm. Iconoclasm.
yeah, iconoclasm, yeah.
Yeah, which is basically a rejection of any kind of religious iconography, because it's like, to oversimplify a lot of theology, they want to keep it pure. They don't want to be strayed away by false images, and you do see that happen a lot, especially with, as you just mentioned, depictions of angels kind of outpacing the theology.
Yeah, because this is what I think is basically happening now with this image of the biblically accurate angel, the one like I've put on the slide of like the wheels and like the eyes and everything. I think even though the verse that comes from is Ezekiel 10, first 12 really. Their entire bodies, including their backs, hands, and wings, were full of eyes all around, as were their 4 wheels. Which is a very vague way of describing it. Like, there's multiple ways you can interpret that, really. And then you get other similar kind of rogue ones, like Daniel, where he's talking about this angel. A man clothed in linen with a fine belt of gold. Body was like beryl. His face had the appearance of lightning. His eyes like flaming torches. His arms, legs like the gleam of burnished bronze. And the sound of his words like the sound of a multitude.
I like that. Sound of a multitude.
Sound of a multitude. It's very powerful. And again, how scary. Can you imagine just an angel talking to you with the sound of a multitude? Like, but it's very evocative, but it's not very clear. Like, it's not, they're not painting a picture. And even when you do get more clear descriptions, like in Matthew 28, when Jesus is like broken out of the tomb, right? Like, and some of the versions it has, like, there's an angel who breaks him out. I don't know why I'm saying, like, he's breaking out of jail.
Yeah, it's like he's just rolling a bolt. Well, I say just rolling a bolt. So
an angel does break out. What's his name? Is it Peter? Yeah, from prison. But anyway, yeah. So this angel had the appearance of lightning, and his clothing was white as snow. So again, it's a bit more simple, but it's still like, what do you mean his appearance was like lightning? Like, what does that mean? Like, it's that threat of that force, very kind of, it's almost like, because it's random as well, lightning, right? But at the same time, it lands in a very specific place, and it has such a disruptive. It's so, there's a mix of poetry in the Bible that I just love, like that, like, oh, the implications. But yeah, and then my final favorite one of like what angels look like. So the angel's basically invisible in this verse. This is in Numbers 22. The donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a sword drawn in his hand. Thus the donkey turned off the road and went into the field, and Balaam struck the donkey to turn it back onto the road. So, for context, Balaam, this guy, he doesn't see the angel. Like, only the donkey sees the angel. And so Balaam's like, what on earth is this donkey? Why is this donkey spooking? So now every time the cat, like, is staring into the void, you know what cats do? They just stare and they're like, what is this cat seeing that I'm not? That's what I'm imagining, just an angel with a sword. It's horrifying. Oh. So, to conclude that slide, we don't know what angels look like. Only donkeys know what angels look like, really. Some of them, I mean, Ezekiel has a lot of crazy visions. Daniel has a lot of crazy visions. It's not clear how much of them are kind of metaphorical. But, I mean, some of them may well look like the fears in the eyes and whatever. But it's more complicated, is what I'm trying to say. On to my next slide, my penultimate slide. I love this meme. Baby, don't forget to put the biblically accurate angel on top of the tree. And it's like feathers and like loads of eyes in place of the angel.
It looks like a spider.
It does. And I actually really love this. I think this is a really fun trend. But also, if you think about it, like, did anything I just say sound like the thing they've put on this tree?
No, it didn't.
Like,
but
it's not...
It does look like what people have been drawing and saying is biblically accurate, but it's also different. Right. It's like, it's another step removed.
Yeah.
Because they've tried to, through trying to make wings, they have seemingly made legs. Yeah, and the way they've done the eyes in 2D shape has, like, altered it. So it's like another step away.
Yeah, exactly. And I've seen a lot of similar ones. I'd actually really love to do like a full-on study on this, like going through and surveying all the art of like angels that I've seen on the internet, because I've seen a lot that have like legs involved in it, and it's like that was never mentioned. You're talking about the weird one from Ezekiel that has the eyes and the wheels and whatever. It's the wheels are there. It's not legs. But yeah, you can recognize. You look at that and you're like, that's biblically accurate angel. That's the term now. That's the association in your head. Biblically accurate angel. I just find that fascinating. But anyway, yeah, I did some research on this for my degree about angels as folk fish, and I thought it was just interesting to mention it, because angels are a really fascinating creature in how like we think about them today. Because a lot of people will believe in angels who aren't explicitly religious, or maybe you might get someone who believes in angels who's like a hardcore evangelical Christian, and then you get your like conservative, more like Catholic grandma or whatever who believes in angels, and then you'll get your woo-woo like new age spirituality like people who believe in angels, and you'll get like, and then obviously like there's angels in other religions as well. There's angels in Islam. There's angels in like some other in like various other religions actually. Like there's not necessarily called angels, but you know, and also people who don't believe in any religion may well just say, oh yeah, I know, I believe in angels looking over me. We'll buy those little guardian angels like objects, or we'll talk about babies as angels or something like that. You know, it all plays into each other. So I think my theory is that it's a form of folk religion, which is basically like an informal kind of religion that develops from the ground up, and it's not linked to any specific group. And through all these, I think the images are so important to this. Like, not just like art online and stuff and memes, obviously that's playing into it with the biblically accurate thing, but also like commercialization, like the way things are sold. Think about Victoria's Secret angels. How much that has done for solidifying that image of angels with the wings, and angels as sexy and seductive and women. Like, that's really solidified that in. It's all to do with the imagery, and that's what's influencing our theological understanding of angels. The images.
Also, I should have mentioned this while we're talking about what angels looks like, but you've not watched Evangelion Neon Genesis, have you?
No.
So it's a mecha anime, but the main antagonist are angels. This is made in Japan, and the guy who made it, I can't remember the director's name, did not have a good grasp of Christianity, because it just isn't in his cultural zeitgeist. But he includes lots of Christian imagery. For example, the enemies are called angels, because he just thought it sounded exotic and cool. And the angels are inspired by various bits of Bible verses about angels and various bits of angel folklore that has made its way to a predominantly non-Christian country. So it's, if you ever want to like see how wild the interpretation of angels can be, just look at the different like antagonists of.
Let me find. I want to find some of these guys.
One of them is just a twink as well. One of them is just
twink?
dead. Yeah, and him and the main character fall in love. And it's like it's their most successful. Like it's like the closest they get to victory is with the twink strategy.
Twink strategy. That is incredible. That's exactly that. That is such a good illustration to like what I'm talking about, because like that's exactly what I mean of like all these little like bits being put together. Like, because I feel like this is how a lot of Western like directors or like people are writing books, whatever, how they'll use folklore from other countries. They'll use Japanese folklore like that, for example, you know, cobbling together random bits. I feel like angels are one of those few things that like it's almost like Western society has cannibalized angels and made them into these like very commercialized, very sanitized images. And so I think the like biblically accurate angel trend is almost like a rejection of that. But I think it's also still really funny how it's kind of the same process happening again. Like, we're still getting the garbled Bible verses and like the random bits of images, and then like you say, like, okay, well, one person's drawn the angel like this and take a slight artistic liberty in this way, which is then picked up again for this thing, you know, like, and it all joins together to the point where you're getting like it's so far from biblically accurate, but it's its own kind of folk belief.
Yeah.
Oh, these are horrifying, these guys from Evangelion.
They are, and I
love their names. Gagiel.
I recommend everyone watch that. It's a really bad show, and then the last 2 episodes like change your life. That is my recommendation of that show. It's awful all the way until the end, and you're like, I am a changed man / woman / non-binary person / I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna leave this. Yeah, last one blank because you know new stuff arises. I don't want to date this.
And just insert in like the newest identity and robots and aliens.
That would be cool. Robots, like that would be cool.
It would be cool. Honestly, I genuinely are. People joke about that, about like how like our generation is going to seem like really unpolitically correct because like we're not going to understand the robots. Like. When our children want to start dating robots, but I'm like, I am so down for delving into like robot ethics and identity.
I don't know how I would feel about dating robots. To be fair, I think I've realised where like where I get outdated.
Like that's your like
That's
Like,
my line.
they can do what they want in their own like private lives, but I just don't understand how you could date one.
Yeah, but I mean, like, because when I hear people dating robots, my mind just thinks, okay, incels are going to make this like going to turn this as a way to be misogynistic to women.
Oh, they for sure are. Like the incels will do that to everything. I don't know. If you ever read Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky
No.
Chambers, brilliant sci-fi book. Anyway, people who have read that will get this. But it's really interesting, like very like intimate kind of thoughtful discussion of like AI ethics. Anyway, would you date an angel?
No.
Elaborate.
Well, okay. My reasoning is partially based off Paradise Lost, where
As all reasons should.
like as I'm remembering correctly, in a spoiler for like a 500-year-old book. There's a bit where the angel Gabriel and I think another angel go to Adam and Eve to warn them about like, hey, Satan's gonna like tempt you and stuff. Don't trust any snakes. And I think they have to explain what a lie is to them because they're like, oh, everything's so nice and pure in the Garden of Eden. But then they like start talking about their love for each other, which is I like people quote Paradise Lost as like, oh, it makes Satan this like relatable character, but like they also portray Adam and Eve's relationship like really wholesomely and really like it genuinely touched me. And the angels are like blushing. They're like, "Oh, I this is like too much for me. I can't deal with this." So I imagine they wouldn't be like very emotionally available. I imagine they wouldn't like.
Have you seen Good Omens?
I tried to watch Good Omens, but I just didn't like the bits that were the two angels I liked, but then it was like this kid who was the Antichrist, and I was like, I don't care.
Oh, you didn't care for the Antichrist guy. Yeah, fair enough. Well, the second series isn't about Antichrist at all. But anyway, I was just going to say, but yeah, because pretty much the whole premise of Good Omens is that the angels are not emotionally available. Like that's where all of the like trauma comes from.
So I do like how like I am so bad with like fiction that your point of reference is like a very recent Amazon Prime show and mine is a 500-year-old book.
It's based on Paradise Lost. Mine's based on Good Omens. Oh, incredible! I love it though. It's how this podcast functions. It's what we this Mine are like way too like kind of annoyingly up to date references of like Hamilton, and I'm like bring everything back to Tumblr, and you're like, well, if we look back 500 years,
Yeah, I'm like a scholar, just like with a quill, like in some dusty archive.
Anyway, the final slide is just a question for you. Where would you fall on this scale? It's like one of those like graph things, like 4-point graphs. On one of the axes, you've got biblically accurate angel to eldritch abomination from the void at the bottom. Eldritch abomination from the void. I gargled that. And then on the other axis, you've got cryptid, fae.
Okay, so are you asking me to put myself on?
Place yourself.
Place myself.
Well, you can place me. I don't know.
Well, you're like in the bottom left corner easily, like.
Eldritch abomination and fae.
No, wait. No, the other.
I'm stupid.
Okay, good.
You said bottom left, and I was there like, right? Did you say right?
Yeah, no, I even did the thing with my fingers before I said it, so I was like, I gotta get this. Gotta get that.
No, cryptid and eldritch abomination from the void.
I can't remember what you look like because you're just.
I don't look like anything. I'm in the void. I'm in the walls.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
I would say I am more on the cryptic end than fae.
Yeah, you're definitely more encrypted. Yeah.
Although I do look a lot younger for my age, actually.
That's because you're like Mothman, like, you know, like you've just stayed around forever.
And disasters are known to follow me.
Yeah, they congregate around you.
I would say I'm like in the cryptic, biblically accurate angel area.
Yeah, I would say you're more biblically accurate angel, yeah.
I am known to have four wheels and eyes of fire.
It's the chaotic, like, it's the chaotic element to you. I'm imagining you now just as little wheels rotating in the air with all the wings and the eyes, and that makes sense to me.
To be fair, like you've not seen me with a functioning wardrobe because at all points in my life, for the exception of when I was in London, I have a wardrobe which is three outfits that I have the seven copies of, so I can wear the same thing every day.
Yeah.
So people subconsciously view me as a cartoon character.
So they link in your identity, like you are establishing your own iconography.
Yes, I wait. I try out lots of different outfits. I wait till like one of them gets a compliment, and then I just base my whole wardrobe around copies of that one outfit, and then that's what I wear.
Incredible. Well, that was the special interest show. Please comment down below where you would fall on that graph, and like this video or review it on Spotify. Follow us, share. Please share our shorts and reels we post on the Instagram.
Please write the URL in blood in abandoned buildings.
Yeah,
I think that would be a good way of
that'd be
advertising.
really good, like publicity stunt. All right, bye.